All right, here we are back in the fan forum again. We are going to the NFC East, staying in the NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys. Troy Mauriello is back. Troy, it's nice to talk to you. It's not college basketball.
Yeah, to be honest, I wish it were. I wish it were November or March. Maybe we could be talking about some March Madness, but I guess this will do. We'll talk a little NFL draft. We can do that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. And one of the big surprises to the first round was the fact the Cowboys made a trade with the Eagles. I mean, I literally was watching that in the draft. And when I see this happen, I'm just sitting there, I'm like my mouth's on the floor. I'm just sitting there going,
What the hell's going on out here?
I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing.
I was watching the draft with my dad, who is also a big Cowboys fan, and I literally said, "Oh my God!" I could not believe that when I saw Cowboys trade pick to Eagles. I knew that they were going to trade that pick. Well, once Horn and Surtain, who were the two guys that they really wanted to take at 10, both went off the board at 8 and 9. I knew that they were going to trade down. It was fairly obvious. I did not see them trading down to the Eagles of all teams. But at the end of the day, I don't hate it. I mean, either the Eagles or the Giants were going to get Devonta Smith in the first round. So I guess that they figure they'd rather him go to the Eagles, who are maybe a little bit further away from contending than the Giants are, a Giants team that was, really a win away from the postseason last year. So I don't hate the move, but yeah, it was certainly a shock to see them making a deal with the hated rival Philadelphia Eagles and doing anything to let the Eagles really gain some talent. It was very surprising. I'll say that.
Definitely was very surprising, but I will say the move back at 12 made sense. I like the pick of Micah Parsons in the first round. I always talk about corner for them, but their linebacking group needed help.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly wanted them to go corner. I wanted either Horn or Sertan. I was shocked that they were both gone. I didn't think that there was really any scenario where both of them were going to be gone. I thought someone was going to trade up to the top 10, to be honest, to take a quarterback to get maybe Justin Fields or Mac Jones, in that 7, 8, 9 range. I was stunned that both guys were gone. Once they were both gone, it kind of became obvious that Parsons was going to be the pick even after they traded down. I don't hate it. They need any sort of talent that they can on the defensive end. As you saw with their draft, with 8 defensive players being drafted, they need to build up their defense any way that they can. And Parsons is, according to all these experts, he was the best, defensive player available. If you look past some maybe character issues which the Cowboys have had no issue doing in the past, looking past some, questionable characters and bringing them in. So very talented guy. Seems like he can make a lot of plays for them on defense. Hopefully he's, a game changer for them. I will say they have drafted linebackers pretty well in the past, Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith, Sean Lee. It's always been kind of a strong point for them. I know that drafting defensive players hasn't been great for them, but they have hit on a couple of linebackers recently. So that makes me a little bit confident, but hopefully this guy can step in and be a day one starter for them and be a difference maker on a defense that, sure as heck really needs it.
Hey, I mean, this team signed Greg Hardy after he was basically accused of like beating up a woman. So Micah Parsons' characters are nowhere near as bad as that.
Yeah. When people said, oh, he's got all this talent, but some off the field stuff, and he maybe has some problems with coaches. I don't think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones have any issue bringing those guys in. For the past basically 25 years, they've had no issue bringing in questionable character guys. They've done it in the last, you look at Randy Gregory is even an example. It doesn't always work out for them. In fact, it almost rarely works out for them. But you hope that this one's different now. You hope that, Parsons can adapt to the NFL life good. And hopefully he ends up being, someone that you can count on now for the next decade in that linebacker position.
Yeah. It's something you mentioned the defensive thing. Dak Prescott tipped it off prior to guys like, hey, this is going to be a defensive draft. Cowboys had their own record. Their first 6 picks are defensive players, which I think the most in franchise history. I'm sure as a team guy who watched that defense, like you're very happy they got a lot of help that defense.
Yeah, when your franchise quarterback is, openly saying we need to take defensive players, I think it's a sign that like you're kind of set on offense. It's time to work on the defense now. And, maybe you can question whether or not they got the right guys. Like I said, I would have rather gotten, Horn or Surtain in the first round rather than Parsons. I would like to get a corner in the first round, then the second round, the guy from Kentucky. But they did at least, make an effort. Like you said, first 6 picks were on the defensive end, 8 guys overall on the defensive end. hopefully, 2 or 3 of those guys can step in and be, day one guys that are going to make an impact for you this season, because this is a team that, should be looking to win the division with a healthy Dak Prescott. He's the best quarterback in the division. You've already built around him successfully on the offensive end. Now it's time to build up that defense into just being, serviceable, because their defense was so terrible last year. They were not going anywhere regardless whether or not Dak Prescott was on the field. Dak being on the field maybe would have turned them from, a 5 or a 6 win team to a 7 or an 8 win team. And sure, they would have gotten into the playoffs with that because the NFC East was so terrible, but they were not going anywhere with how bad that defense was. The offense can score 30 points a game, but if you give up 35, you're going to lose a lot of games. So they need to build up that defense. And they tried. We don't know whether these picks are going to be good or not for the next, year or two. We'll find out. But they're certainly at least, committed now to building the defense, which I like.
Yeah, Troy, they did try. Thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, how do you find on social media keep up with your podcast, the Seeing Red podcast?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're a college basketball fan, you can follow me on Twitter at Troy Mauriello. The last name is Mauriello. I do tweet some Cowboys every once in a while. So Cowboys fan, definitely check me out as well.
All right, Troy. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.